does Facebook, Spotify, and BlackBerry have in common? The answer might actually surprise you. It's the fact that these products that eventually became cult classics and favorites and iconic in so many ways, at first didn't sell themselves. Yeah, the products didn't sell themselves. In fact, it took a little bit of time for companies to understand the value of the very first smartphone or a social network that would eventually become the connection platform for things like Instagram and every single login that we've ever had online. What we can learn from those products is pretty simple. Number one, you should definitely be going on a date with that nerd from your computer science class in university. That was my first loss. And number two, even great products don't sell themselves. I'm Emily Durham, and I think this video is gonna change your life. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Emily Durham. I'm a careers coach and content creator who's been in the talent acquisition industry for over 7 years and a content creator for over 4. Basically, my goal is to help you thrive in your 9 to 5 and beyond and step into your best self. And this video is one that is particularly close to my heart for 2 reasons. I'm actually a sales recruiter. So I'm around salespeople all day, every day. I see how they think, I see how they operate, I see how they make money, and I see how far ahead they get in their careers more quickly than people who don't have the same sales skills. And the second reason this video is so important to me and close to my heart is those sales skills that I learned from becoming a sales recruiter have accelerated my careers and truly has helped me blow the F up on social media. And I want you to have the same growth. Whether you're looking to excel in your 9 to 5 job or excel in your dating, in your personal life, or even become a content creator, your ability to sell your unique value proposition is the difference between whether or not you get the promotion, get the gig, and ultimately get the dream life that I know you deserve. I'm telling you that you are going to walk away from this video not only feeling more confident and more equipped to go after the life that you want, but also with some really tangible takeaways. This is not a fluffy bullshit video. If you know me from any of my other socials, you know I don't really do the fluffy, the bullshit, okay? I just like facts and I like money, and let's get you both, okay? Crack into it, hit the subscribe button, I'm ready to rumble. Whether you realize it or not, you are selling yourself as a product or as an experience at least 100 different times a day. Whether you're swiping on Hinge, trying to find the love of your life, yeah baby, that's sales. When you're interacting with someone at a networking event, even though it's just small talk and chit chat, yeah baby, that is sales. Every time you interact with somebody and they walk away with an impression of you and an impression of who you are, that is sales. I want to be clear, this is not just a video for extroverts, okay? You can be a great salesperson and be an introvert. In fact, there are so many fantastic salespeople that I know and work with who are introverts. Being good at sales does not mean being the loudest in the room. In fact, it can often be the opposite, but we'll get into that in a second. The first skill that most salespeople have that I guarantee is going to change your life is their communication skill. Let's start off with the easy stuff, which is your body language. I talk about this all the time on my podcast and on this channel, but I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you to physically carry yourself like you mean something, okay? You are gonna carry yourself like you are that bitch, okay? Like you are that rock star, like you are the #1 person on your team. And it's very easy to do this. The first thing I want you to do is take an inventory of how your body feels right now in this moment. Maybe you're hunched over, maybe your jaw is a little bit tense because you've had a really stressful day, maybe you're fidgeting, playing with your nails, maybe you're playing with your hair, perhaps you're not making direct eye contact. I want you to take 30 seconds, scan your body, and think about what your body language is saying right now. In this moment. Yes, I know it's just us, but in this moment. Okay, so now that you have an inventory of what that feels like, I want you to make some small adjustments and remember to check in with yourself throughout the day, especially before big presentations and big meetings, so that you can actually physically show up this way. So first things first, nothing about this body language is screaming comfortable, is screaming confident. I want you to stand tall. I want you to actually engage your core when you're sitting. I want your shoulders up. I want you making eye contact for those where that is accessible. I want you to smile while you're speaking. Do you see how I just did that? That sounded awfully convincing, didn't it? Notice how I use my hands when I speak to convey a message, because studies show that the more enthusiastic somebody is when they're speaking, the more credible they seem. Kind of crazy, right? You might think that I've made up my credentials, but I'm speaking with so much confidence and riz, if you will, that you're actually gonna believe me. So salespeople always physically present as confident so that you can instantly tell who's the big man in charge, who's the big boss in charge. But in addition to their body language, they are verbally very strong. Most salespeople have a way with words. They know how to bullshit to get in or out of a situation. They're clear, they're concise. They excel at the art of communication. And it's not because they're born with this skill. It's actually because most salespeople start their career in a cold calling position, where they're picking up the phone, they're calling Susie from across the lane trying to sell them a window pane, okay? That rhyme was not intentional. And after enough cold calls and ultimately facing enough rejection, you end up getting really good at carrying these conversations because it's second nature. I feel this as well in my role as a recruiter. I'm on the phone with people literally 8 hours a day. I'm so used to small talk to the point where I have like a repertoire or a list of conversation starters I'm used to. Rejection doesn't really upset me because I've been hit with it so many times over the phone. So naturally, I walk into every conversation like I have literally nothing to lose. And that sense of calmness and comfortability comes from practice. We're gonna practice the art of speaking before you think. And I know that sounds batshit crazy, but I'm telling you, there are so many studies that show the more we overthink what we're going to say, the worse it actually comes out. And then we overthink even more, and it's this vicious cycle. However, if you are getting comfortable having these conversations, whether you start cold calling people, maybe you randomly call your friends, maybe you practice doing sales calls, maybe you are watching YouTube videos of people doing these sales pitches, you are actually going to desensitize yourself to the overthinking, and you're going to be able to lean into the art of speaking before you think. My challenge for you after watching this video is I want you to call 2 friends a week without texting them, without warning them. I want you to carry the conversation. I want you to have 3 or 4 different prompts you're gonna ask them, and you're gonna do that for a month. And before you call that friend, you're going to adjust your body language like I just spoke about. I guarantee in 4 weeks' time, and you can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, you are gonna feel so much more secure about these conversations and thinking on the cuff, and you are going to end up communicating much more clearly. Another thing you'll notice that salespeople don't do is they don't waste your time with filler words. So they're avoiding using words like or like, or you know, to try and buy time. No. They're so confident that if they don't have anything to say, they get comfortable with silence. They're not saying, hi, can I sell you this rooftop because it's great. They're gonna say, hey, can I sell you this rooftop? Silence. There is so much power, and it shows how confident you are when you allow there to be quiet space in conversations and when you slow down your speech. If I spoke really quickly like this, I bet you'd think that either I was Trisha Paytas or like I was really nervous. But the slower I speak and the more I lean in and use my body and show the energy that I know my shit, even if I'm faking it, that's where the magic happens. So you need to practice faking it until you believe it. Although communication is very important for a good salesperson, I would actually argue the most valuable skill of someone who's good at sales is being an amazing listener. In fact, it's not just listening, it's listening with the intention of understanding and not necessarily being understood. I'm gonna explain what that means. Really good salespeople do something called value-based selling, where the first thing they do is they understand what is the pain that this customer is feeling, and how can I find a way to tie that pain into a solution via this product. So you sell the solution, you don't sell the product specifically. And that is all based on this ability to be a really good active listener and ask open-ended questions. The last topic, communication, is a no-brainer because ultimately it's gonna impact your career in a billion different ways. The better you communicate, the more you'll be able to ask for a raise, to network with people, to have a strong personal brand, to get promoted, yada, yada. But the listening piece is really the differentiator between who kicks ass at work and who's just ass at work. In fact, the best salespeople often speak for 30% of the conversation and have their customer speak for 70% of the conversation. How does this help you? There is nothing worse than someone who speaks confidently and clearly and doesn't know what the actual F they're talking about. So if you're looking to accelerate your career or accelerate your personal life and even your interpersonal relationships, your ability to actively listen to people and to ask probing questions, seeking to understand, is what's going to set you apart. And I'm going to tell you an example of how this can show up, especially at work. I had a client that I was working with who was a video editor for a pretty large tech company, and she was working on this massive project. It was taking up all of her time, and on Friday of that week, she had to present her findings to the team and show them what her demo looked like. She went into this demo meeting, showed this beautiful 40-minute video, and the team said it was absolute garbage and they wanted nothing to do with it. She and I were talking through this in her session, and I asked, well, what did they ask for? And she said, well, they wanted a video to showcase what the office looked like. And I said, okay, what else were they looking for? She goes, well, they just wanted us to go through the office, see the people, yada, yada. And I said, what problem are they trying to solve? She goes, they just wanted a video of the office. And I was like, that's the problem. This is the root of the issue, right? You were focusing on the task. You're not focusing on the root of the problem. Were they looking to use this externally to attract new talent? Were they looking to use this internally as marketing material? What pain point were you trying to solve for? Because how are you building something? How are you selling something, an experience, a product, even hiring you, if you aren't able to clearly articulate what the actual F these people want? So when you walk into interviews, when you're assigned a task at work, when you're on a date, ask questions with the intention of understanding and listen with the intention of understanding, not just you being understood. There is a difference. The third thing that salespeople are great at, that is a skill that I guarantee will change your life, is having the audacity to ask and the impact to close. Have you ever heard the phrase, closed mouths don't get fed? That's particularly true for people in the workplace, especially when you're young or you are a woman or you are a part of an underrepresented group. Statistically, these groups are less likely to ask for more money or ask for promotions at work. Not going to break down why that is. Do not blame those individuals. Do not blame anything other than the system that has been created to systemically make it more challenging for people to succeed. I'm not going to cover that in depth today. Although I can't fix the system, I can, help us finesse it, play with it a little bit. One thing salespeople do is they are not scared to ask. They're on the phone and they say, fine, you don't want this product today. Can I call you in 2 weeks? If you are told no and a door is closed on you, have the audacity to ask to follow up. You want the promotion? Have the audacity to ask. You want the raise? Have the audacity to ask. You are the only thing in a lot of cases that is standing in between the life that you want and the life that you have. And if you're working at a company that actually doesn't support you in getting to where you want to go, get the F out. Why are we staying somewhere that doesn't want to see you grow? You need to figure out what you are trying to close in your life right now. Is it a new relationship? Is it a new job? And really think about, what does that look like for you? I'll give you a personal example. My goal in the next year is to quit my 9-to-5 job and be a full-time content creator, providing advice like this based on my experience, and hopefully write a book. Now, there's no way I'm going to get that if I don't start embracing the audacity and asking for exactly what I want. So I've started verbalizing it. I sat down with my agency and I said, here's my goal. By this day, I'm self-employed. I started talking to the brands I'm working with and saying, hey, I'm looking at doing this full time. How can we partner? I've started asking people for what I want. And guess what? People are starting to show up how I need them to show up. So if you're trying to thrive at your job, or you want to be exclusive with that person you're seeing, why are you waiting for things to happen for you instead of you making those things happen for you? Honestly, one of the easiest ways that you can get comfortable doing this is getting comfortable understanding what you want and giving yourself permission to want it out loud. When your friends ask you, where do you want to go for dinner? And you're like, oh, I don't know, I don't really care, but you deep down really want pizza, say pizza. Start taking these little actions in your day-to-day life that's going to rewire your brain into thinking that you always have permission and you always can have the audacity to go for what you want in life. If you walk away from this video with only one thing, I hope it's this. The idea that good work speaks for itself has never been and will never be enough. Most importantly, if you are not capable of asking for what you want, you are going to be left behind. You're going to be left in the dust. Ultimately, good salespeople are persistent. So if you are gunning for a promotion, if you are gunning for a raise, do you know what I want you to do? I want you to tell your boss what you want. I want you to ask for what you want. I want you to be persistent in highlighting your wins at work, whether it's in your monthly meetings with your boss or in an email. You need to be consistent and help sell the work that you do using these skills so other people can see you shine. And that's a diary of a sales recruiter, if I've ever heard one. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, or you want me to go deeper on anything, you have other topics you want me to cover, if you like this style of content, smash that little subscribe button. Leave me a little comment. I also have a podcast that goes live every single Sunday. I'm about to go make dinner. I think I'm losing my voice. I've had a lot of calls today. I need a little breaky break, but it was amazing getting to hang out with you. I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.